the outfit, music of the movie and the editing process, please.
The mood, the music, and the editing. The mood. Well, the mood goes in tandem with the music. I wanted that kind of 70s feel of melancholia. So a lot of the songs I use enforce that, and they're not used ironically. You know, people like Glenn Campbell. I like Glenn Campbell. There's no irony there. And it just, I think that gives you a feeling of. We were talking about this earlier about unpredictability. I think that whole feeling of sadness and melancholia subconsciously goes into the audience's mind, in the sense that they're not sure where the film's going to go, and it's unpredictable, and they're not sure if the two characters are going to live or die. The editing process, I've worked with the same editor, Kiehl, 3 times, and what was interesting on the first film I did, we were out of sync with the timing of the comedy. But once I explain, sometimes you have to do a deadpan response to a funny line, so that draws out a scene. Once we got that worked out, virtually everything he's done since, his first cuts are almost, I wouldn't say perfect, but the film is there in the first cut, and then it's just refining it. But we had to work through that process on the go. Editing I find quite enjoyable. I find editing quite enjoyable, but I'm always stressed because I always feel like I've got to make sure I catch everything that the actors have done, that nothing is lost. And sometimes you have takes where you have to lose something. You're trying to make the best case for the scene in a way. So you have to refine it in some way, and you're just hoping you don't lose something that should have been saved. And whenever I see the 3 films that I've made now, I never feel something was lost. But I do find editing enjoyable, but I find it very stressful.
Was there one scene in Warn Everyone where you're like, I'm going to keep it in, and then finally you're like, nah?
No,
was it obvious?
The weirdest thing on Warn Everyone was the scenes that I cut. When we were shooting them, I was like, I'm not sure about this scene. And so I felt bad, because I think that's a problem in the writing, where I should have cut the scene in the writing.
Or maybe we were just bad.
No, it wasn't. Like the scene with the fish in Iceland. We're in the hotel room.
I have no idea what the fuck that scene was.
There's salmon, yeah. And it's like, I find it's like a karmic thing sometimes, where I'm unsure with a scene. When we get to shoot it, I'm like, I'm not happy with the location. There's something wrong with, it's as if the life is telling me.
Yeah, I remember you weren't happy with the room.
Yeah, the room. I was like, nah. And so it's like, somebody.
It felt really weird.
The gods are telling you, cut this scene now.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Even though you're an atheist. Yeah, that's cool.
The only time I've ever looked at a film and regretted anything was there's a scene in The Guard where a character says that he molested a llama, and he reveals that the name of the llama was Stephen. That's the only thing I've ever regretted, that I didn't leave in.
I can't believe he
goes,
fucking
Stephen, and he drifts off. But he drifts.
Oh, he goes back?
Yeah, he goes. Yeah. So and it was so slow. The moment was so slow
Cut to Peru.
that I cut it. And it's the only. Whenever I see the scene now, I'm like, hey, Stephen, the llama.
Oh God.
But
llamas are funny. Like Bill Murray
Especially
in
Stephen the llama.
Caddyshack.
I don't know. I've seen it.
So Dalai Lama. You never seen it?
Oh, Dalai Lama, yeah.
But you never seen Caddyshack?
No, I've never seen Caddyshack.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Cool. That's interesting.
Like
That explains a lot. Are you going to say that explains a lot?
Nope.
No.
You know what? That explains a lot.
Just next question. That's all I have to say.
This film is kind of a great birdie movie. What were your inspiration or example that you follow from the directing and for the acting by doing Warn Everyone?
I didn't look at too many movies. I'd seen lots of 70s cop films, obviously. There was a film, Freebie and the Bean, I don't know if it was ever released here, where Alan Arkin, have you ever seen this? He plays Mexican.
What, really?
Alan Arkin plays a Mexican.
No.
Yeah. But so I rewatched that again. I
What's
loved
it called?
Freebie and the Bean. James Caan and Alan Arkin.
Freebie and the Bean.
Yeah. And what's they make loads of racial gags in it, and it's got Alan Arkin playing the Latino guy.
But what he's a
Latino.
one of my best friends is a blue-eyed, red-haired Mexican. So there are
Right. There's that boxer.
Yeah.
Who's that boxer
Yeah.
guy? He looks like
Right,
an
right.
Irish guy.
Yeah.
But when I watched it again, there's a scene in the film, right? You could do this in the 70s, where they kill a guy, and they get away with it, and it's played for laughs. You could do that in the 70s. So it was that kind of tone and that kind of mood that I was harking back to, in a way.
Got it. What is it called? Beanie?
Freebie and the Bean. There's a good film called Hickey and Boggs, Robert Culp and Bill Cosby. Very, very dark movie. And then there's a good obscure buddy cop movie called Busting with Elliot Gould. So I was looking at the more obscure ones, not the famous ones. French Connection is obviously so famous. It's one of those movies you've seen 10 times before you're 20 or whatever. So that was always in my subconscious as well. But I was trying to capture a mood rather than do specific references.
Which scene in this movie was the most difficult to shoot and to play for you?
A scene that was difficult to shoot
Yes.
and play.
30%.
Right. Dancing.
Dancing, maybe yes.
Oh yes, of course. Oh,
That's
that
the
was
only
rough.
that's the only argument we had, I think.
Oh,
in the
that was
film.
horrible.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah, fun.
On
It
the
was
screen,
fun, yeah.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, we shot it late at night, and for me, I wanted it to. It's a surreal moment, obviously, and I wanted it. We all wanted it to work and look surprisingly choreographed and good. Like we didn't want to play the realism of them like spontaneously starting to dance. We wanted this kind of choreographed thing throughout the house. And Tessa's a great dancer. I'm not. I'm terrible. And she tried to kind of teach me this routine, and I just didn't nail it. Like we did it a couple of times. It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Also, bear in mind it's a low budget film, so the guys haven't had a lot of time to
No, we had
rehearse.
one rehearsal, and I like the end bit. We never nailed it. Like that ding down boom bam like, and it to me it was so important. That
Very important.
It's to nail that, And we wrapped, and John was like, we gotta go home. Like this is.
Well,
again,
I
it's a
had
low-budget
another
movie.
scene to shoot.
Yeah,
so I was like, we gotta move on.
And I was like, and I begged
You couldn't
John.
speak.
No, I was just like, we didn't get it. It was so frustrating to me, and I begged John and the producer. I was like,
Shot on
please,
Friday,
can we
right?
spend an hour
Thursday, and then we
tomorrow?
came
Because we were
back.
going back
Yeah,
to the same
another day.
location. Can we spend an hour and try to get the end bit so we have it? And well,
Well,
fortunately,
what was great was so I spoke to the cinematographer Bobby, and he said, well, it's the same lighting setup. So if we get through an earlier scene,
Yeah.
quick,
yeah,
we can spare the time to do it and redo it again. And I think the scene we got through was the scene, which was an important scene, was with the kid Dylan,
yeah,
where he reveals
Yeah.
that he'd been abused.
yeah.
But you and him nailed everything in it was like 2 or 3 takes. So
Yeah.
we got through it like that. It was like, yeah, we can spend an hour, and it was better.
Yeah,
That
it-
is the thing,
But
It was better.
here's the thing. We got through the choreographed version of it, and I felt like I was on Dancing with the Stars or something. It felt like it was amazing. And I was like, thanks, John. Thanks for letting us do that.
This is gonna be the shiniest piece of shit.
And then I
swear to God, dude.
and then I
no-
sit
no
down
shit
and
is
then I
ever
sit
shiny
down
as-
and watch
Right.
the fucking movie. And Tessa's like, and I'm like a fucking brick house.
How do you do that?
So that was the
Teach me that move
that was
again.
the great
How do you do
version.
that move?
Can you imagine how bad it was the night before? If that was the good one?
And what was funny, because you were asking about editing, when I got into the editing, I saw the previous days.
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck, he was right. It was shit. It's even shitter than the way it ended up.
It's even shit.
No, but I remember. I'm like, I knew that it was on a Friday because I think we had dinner either Friday, no,
No, it
Saturday.
was a Thursday, and then we did the Friday.
No,
think
but
that was
I don't think I was working.
No, you weren't there.
No, because we had dinner the following day, and I was like, he's like a, he's a pretty optimistic kind of dude, and I was like, what's going on? Oh, the dancing scene. Didn't go very well. I had another day. Not enough preparation. I'm like, yeah, man, that's.
I like the scene.
Yeah,
Well,
I like
it works
too.
now. It
Yeah,
works
yeah.
now. I think
I
it's
like it too.
at least it's surreal enough because it is. Even though I'm shit, it's still choreographed. You can
shit.
tell like it's.
But I
like
think
we
the
got
DVD.
this-
I think the DVD has to have the original
Oh
cut.
my god. And it's like Tessa walking me through it, just like, why don't you 2, 3, left, right, left.
But that's
spin,
awesome.
And I'm
He's
like,
like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, dude. I'm like, yeah, dance, dude.
Yeah.
Just feel the music, dude. Feel the count.
dance the night away, baby.
You know what's interesting about trust with an actor is because when I was doing The Guard, Brendan Gleeson rang me up and goes, we need to reshoot this scene because of weather conditions. It was a windy, rainy scene, and I thought, it's okay. He went, it's not okay, we need to do it again. And of course, I had the same thing, it's like, it's a low budget film.
Yeah.
I tried to get it in. If you think, and he was so adamant about it, and did it, and he was right. So
What was wrong about it?
It
Weather?
was, they were doing the scene, and the weather conditions, he reckoned, the wind and the rain was taken away from what they were saying. You weren't concentrating, you were just going, God, they're being buffeted by the... So when you got in touch, I was like, it felt like the same thing. If he's really that upset or annoyed, let's try to make it work. And it was because of that relationship I had with Brandon before, where he would, that was the only thing he ever got in touch with me about and said, you need to redo it.
And that was also the only time on board everyone.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, same thing.
Like,
Yeah, I wanted to reshoot the scene with my wife riding me, but like, no, not gonna do that. I'm like,
That
"Dude,
was
we
late
really,
at night.
we really need to reshoot it.
I wasn't quite feeling it.
We need to spend a whole day on it, dude. And he's like, oh, I think we got it. And I'm like, no, I don't think we got it, dude. My wife's gonna.
You
kill me.
wanted to rehearse that for 2 weeks as well. Stephanie was like, really? 2 weeks? of this?
It appears that we don't have a lot of time, so we wanted to ask you if we can make some pictures with you.
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it.
Thank you.